Hi, my little Calaveras. And if you're new to this channel, hi, welcome. My name is Jinx. If you're returning, welcome back. Today, I have a very special story for you all. It is a original series written by me. So this is just the first part of it. I will post eventually more of it. I know dark web is a favorite. Of course, this is a fictional piece written by me. So if you like dark web stories, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this story together. I work for the dark web, but it's not what you think. So I know what you might be thinking. Working for the dark web, I must be some evil, vile person who likes torturing people for fun. Or that I have some weird, sadistic fetish that can only be filled through the pain of others. But that's far from the truth. I work for a group of vigilantes, or maybe anti-heroes would be a better description for us. Before I tell you about the organization I work for, I feel it's important to explain who I am and what led me to this path. Call me Celine. This is not my real name, of course. You will never know who I am. I had a sister that I loved dearly, and this world decided to cruelly take her from me far sooner than anyone could have guessed. My little sister, let's call her Callista, was the sweetest person. She was someone who was kind-hearted and didn't have a mean bone in her body. I was considered a Sour Patch Kid. I had a hard outer shell and rarely let people in to see how sensitive I was. I constantly pushed people away, while Callista, she was a bright light that was warm and loving. She almost seemed to draw people in. We were actually half-sisters, but we didn't find that out until later. It seems obvious to me now. I had a darker complexion and hair that was wavy curly, while she had a pretty light brown color that was pinned straight. My features were sharper than hers. While we both had our mother's interesting rounded almond eye shape, mine were a deep flat brown, encircled with a unique indigo color, while hers were light brown with an olive green. Cal said she was jealous of my eyes because I had the ability to both peer into people's souls, but also, in moments, show how sensitive I really was. She said in those moments she could see how beautiful my heart was and wished I would show it more. As we grew up, there were more differences. I was short, bottom heavy, with a more athletic build, while she was average height, with a more feminine hourglass figure. But one thing never changed. We were best friends. I, for whatever reason, thought it was smart to get an ancestry DNA kit when I was in my early 20s. Callista wanted to do one too, of course. And that's when we got the news. We didn't share the news with our parents. I'm pretty sure my father knew the whole time. He had always treated me differently than Cal. While she was his little princess, I was the annoying, underachieving pain in the ass. He was always shoving my shortcomings and failures in my face. He would only stop when he upset Cal. My mother never said anything, but in hindsight, it makes more sense to me now. She was afraid that he would retaliate. It was when Callista went away to university that things took a turn. I had decided to stay in town and work part-time while attending a local community college. I had moved out and was living with my boyfriend. She was guilty for wanting to move away, but I assured her that it was fine, and she needed to do what was best for her. I was happy for her. She had gotten a scholarship and was going to have freedom to figure out who she was. It was all going so well for her until she met him. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take a break for a moment from the story and regain my composure. This information is all relevant for what I do for work. I promise. It's just really hard for me to think about what happened to her without blaming myself. If I had been more attentive or made it out more to see her, maybe I could have prevented what happened to her. She didn't deserve that. I wish it was me instead. Okay guys, real quick, I just wanted to pop in before I start the second chapter. I wasn't originally planning to, but I just wanted to let you guys know that there are topics that may be triggering that are implied in the second chapter of the story. So use your own discernment, up to you of course, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up just because I know some people appreciate it, and I know some people don't care about trigger warnings, but I'd rather err on the side of caution and let you guys know. Sorry for the delay. Some days are easier to talk about what happened than others. Feelings can be tricky. Plus, work got a little busy, and I had to take on a few extra tasks. I'm sure you want to know what happened. So, I won't keep you waiting. Callista was a bit homesick in the beginning when she first left. I would get calls from her frequently, questioning if she should just come home. I told her that she needed to give it time, try to meet people and try new things. After the first month, she started making friends. We would catch up on Sundays as our own little ritual. Plus, things were getting a little hectic at home for me. Mike, my boyfriend, was on a business venture making cryptocurrency with a friend, leading me to take on more shifts at work, on top of my schoolwork, housework, and attempting to keep in shape. On the third month of Cal being away at school, she told me she met a guy. She was never really one to be interested in dating while in high school. She preferred to hang out with me or study. Her goal was to be a pediatrician and hopefully work for St. Jude's. Then she met Sam. He was in a lot of her classes. I didn't blame her for falling for him. He was charismatic, smart, well-off, and classically handsome. Tall, broad shoulders, blonde hair, ocean blue eyes, perfect white-toothed smile. He even had me fooled that he was a good guy. Or maybe it was the fact that I was so exhausted and overworked that I tried to see the best in him for Cal. I had never seen her gush over someone, and she seemed so happy. For me, as long as her studies didn't suffer, it seemed like it was a good relationship. When it came around to midterms, she was becoming super stressed. There were a few nights she had called me crying. I would always calm her down and promise once she was done with her exams, I would come out and see her. The weekend after her final midterm, I drove out to the city of the university. I was exhausted from working 3 weeks of consecutive days in a row and trying to balance everything else. But I was excited to see my baby sister after the longest time we've ever spent apart. We met at a local brunch place. Cal had asked if it was okay if Sam tagged along. I agreed because I wanted to see the guy that caught Callista's attention. We were all talking and having a good time. It was nice to see that my baby sister was actually happy. Cal had went to use the restroom, leaving me alone with Sam. We tried to make small talk, but it was just a little awkward. I was always horrible at small talk. I thought I noticed a glint of something dark in those ocean eyes as he looked at me. It was almost a predatorial look, if I had to say. but I decided to brush it off, thinking I was just exhausted and imagining things. As Sam paid for the bill, all of a sudden I got a call from a panicking Mike. It took a minute for me to get the info from him, but his business partner ran off with all their computer supplies. I sighed and explained to Callista. She said she understood. I should go home and help Mike. I asked if she was sure, but she insisted, telling me that we could always meet up another weekend. I said my goodbyes, trying to ignore the weird vibe I got when Sam mentioned that it was a shame I wasn't going to be at the party later. That fucking party. If I could reverse time, Callista would have never gone. That glint I thought I saw, I was spot on with it. I won't repeat what that monster did to my sister. The fact that he recorded it for his friends to see makes it so much worse. Just because he couldn't wait for her to be ready to go all the way. The self-entitlement of a spoiled monster. It makes me sick to think that there are so many other fiends like him out there. Ones who think that they can just take what they want because no one can tell them no. These type of people are the scum of the earth. And yes, I say people because it's not limited to gender. These monsters come in all forms. Callista was a mess after it. The blame and the shame she felt seemed to consume her. It wasn't her fault. She was partying with someone she thought she could trust. Who thinks their partner is going to slip something in their drink and take advantage of them? You should be able to trust your partner to protect you. Callista had pressed charges, but even with the evidence against Sam, that jerk just got a slap on the wrist. Some bullshit that they didn't want to ruin the life of a young man who was full of potential for a mistake. A mistake. He smirked at me after the sentencing. He was going to pay, I swore to myself. Cal was a mess even more after that. She dropped out of school and fell into a deep depression. She wouldn't answer my messages. Thanks to the ass of my father, Jerry, I could only visit when my mom was home. Then, I got the call from my mom one day sobbing. My baby sister was gone. I felt like my heart stopped beating. I struggled to breathe. It wasn't real. It couldn't be real. Mike had to take the phone out of my hand and get the information for the arrangements. I don't even really remember the service. I kind of fell into a depression myself after the funeral. Numb and oblivious to the world. I stopped going to school and just worked to help make sure the bills were paid. I swear, part of myself died with Callista. I was just numb. Why did it have to happen to her? I'm sorry to end this on such a sad note. This part is always hard for me to talk about. Some days it feels like it happened to somebody else. Other days, I have crashing waves of sadness that threaten to drown me into a void of sorrow. But I will give you another snippet about my job. I'm almost to the point of the story where I meet the leader of my organization. Her name is Medusa. We all have code names. Mine is Phoenix. Only a few people in the organization know my name is Celine. My code name is because part of me died with Callista. Those ashes held the tiny embers that would eventually ignite the flame to the version of me that is working today. And I am a force to be reckoned with. Hi, my little Calaveras. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Also, like, comment, share, all the good stuff. And yeah, that is chapter 1 and 2 of I Work for the Dark Web. I will let you know that this story is still a dark web story, so we're going to have some of those darker topics, but it's kind of from a different perspective. I wanted to make it more like how you would Dexter. Like, even though they do bad things, they're not doing it for a bad reason. Trigger warnings tend to be a hot topic in this community, whether it should be given or not be given. And personally, I think they should be given just because we want this community to be a safe space for everybody. And sometimes you're just not in the right mental capacity to deal with certain topics. And I completely understand that. So that's why I put that in. Yes, this is a work of fiction, but I just wanted to be respectful and make sure this is a safe space for everyone. So that's why I put that in. And I do want to also include a few hotlines in the description below for you guys if you need it. Always reach for help if you need it. Don't hesitate. You're important. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget that I do have my social media linked in the description down below, as well as my Gmail if you want to submit a story. Anyway, I am going to get going, and with that being said, remember, my little calaveras, don't let anyone or anything steal your light. Check under your bed at night, and until next time, bye.